Howdy folks, this is a Saturday morning shave for me. This is from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, Crown King line, Sundown, and this is a version of the Sun Up scent. I'll put a link down below. Show you what the consistency looks like. This is as you can see there, you can push your finger in a little ways. This particular soap comes in two different sizes, 4 ounce and 2 ounce, and this one here is the 2 ounce size. And going along with it, of course, I've got the alum block with the rubber band, Humphrey's Witch Hazel Lilac, and got the matching aftershave also in a glass container if you never got any of the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements aftershave that come in glass container, something I like. And the shaver of the day, since this is September, my Shavette shave is going to be showing up on Saturday, and it is a Feather Artist Club SS Camisori style, and it's got a feather blade super, and this will be, I think, the fifth shave on this blade, which it's still going pretty strong. I got it got the lather whipped up here in the Camisori bowl that I've been working with this week, and that's what the lather looks on the inside of the bowl. And I'm using a RazoRock 400, and let me see if I can get this turned right away. There we go. And I got quite a bit of lather whipped up there. So I've already put a hot towel to the face, and also took the bloom water and put it on there like a pre-shave. And go ahead and wet the face, get started here. If you haven't tried the Crown King line of Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, this line up here has cocoa butter as well as a few other ingredients, but have to say this is it's fairly creamy. As you sometimes you can kind of tell, but this one here, when you start to whip it up, as well as when I scrape it out of the container, I use a baby spoon, and I press it down into the bowl. And when you do that, you can tell how kind of get that creamy feeling already in your fingers as you're pressing it down in the bowl. Spent most of yesterday painting my daughter's bedroom. Still got just a little bit left to do, because I not only painted the walls, also repainted the ceiling. So I still noticed I get a little bit of paint on me. As much as I try to keep it off of me, I still ended up with it on me. Not a whole lot, but still. Thought I was doing pretty good. I wasn't getting it everywhere. Here we go with the first pass. I did have some help. Oh, I probably should mention also, in case this is the first time you've seen this video, I got a wet towel over here to the side that I'm wiping this off on, as well as I warm it up in a warm mug of water along with the brush. I do all that at the same time. It's just something I've gotten in the habit of doing. A warm blade feels better again on my face as opposed to a cold one. Just my personal preference. This is my favorite shaver when it comes to shavettes. is very easy for me to find the angle with this one, to maneuver it around my face. It is one, in my opinion, it's one less thing to, how you say, concern yourself with a folder. You've got, of course, the scales to handle that you're always having to reposition. You don't have to worry too much about that with a Camisori style. With my beard type, the super works well for me. My beard is a little on the tough side, and this blade does better for me than the professional. I still got a few more of those blades left I'm working through, but super works best for me. If I remember correctly, on their website they do mention the fact that what the blades, what kind of beard type it's made for, that might work better for you. And they do mention that supers for tough beards. I know when I first started shaving with it, I felt that the blade was somewhat edgy. Wasn't accustomed to something that sharp. But after I've used it a little while, and then when I moved over to the tried the professional, I realized that yeah, this definitely was the blade to go with. I just didn't realize that I was using a blade that was so sharp. I really like this blade. I have an Icon that's a single edge, and I really like using a super in it also. I'll be using it throughout the month. I got a couple of single edge shavers that take our Feather Artist Club blades. This scent, I can still smell it right now. So in other words, I didn't damage too much with all the paint fumes yesterday. Paint wasn't too terribly bad until I started painting the ceiling, and those fumes were pretty strong for some reason. Did have some help yesterday. My mom and dad came over, and as well as my daughter wanted to do some painting. She ended up quite a bit of it on her. Not very much on her clothes, but quite a bit on her. I think she enjoyed it though. This is really creamy stuff. Usually with a shave head, I only go about 2 pass shaves, sometimes 2.5. I might do across the grain on the cheeks. It did take me a while to convince myself to get this shaver. I kind of feel like it is something that you need to take in consideration. Feather's been around for a moment, but my concern was at the time was that you only have very few people that make blades for this, and I was very concerned about it. Your selection, in other words, if I go through their blades and I don't like any of them, then I've got this. At that point in time, I got it $60 ship. Then I got a shaver because I can't find a blade that I like to use in it. So there for a while, in other words, I was not going to get one because I was very concerned about that. I didn't want to spend the money on it and then be that disappointed, even though I do like the style. And on Facebook, I'm part of a group called the Shavette World. If you've seen my posting yesterday, that's where all that, the soap, the brush, aftershave. I'll have to show you I've got a couple of mugs. Shavette World. I have a t-shirt also. And some even have a towel. But that's how I got started in this. It was mentioned in the group about shaving with one of these, and decided, okay, you know, I'll go ahead and get one. I'm glad I did, because ever since then, boy, this is a great shaver in my opinion. Money well spent. Yeah, this is my favorite shaver. I guess you might say I got past the point of being so concerned about the fact that this is very few blades made for this razor. I'm not talking about different styles necessarily, as opposed to companies that make blades that'll fit this. I got past it, quite happy with it. They make several different kinds. I'm not for sure, because I haven't tried it. Been kind of sort of tempted just to see how it works out for me, and it may or may not work out for me. I noticed they make a pink line, and the pink ones, of course, you know, are made for the ladies, but how gentle that may or may not be on the face. And I have definitely got accustomed to the super. I do not have a problem with the super. But like I say, when I first started, I thought, wow, this thing is pretty edgy. You know, you felt the sharpness of the blade. And I've gotten accustomed to it, and it's nowhere near as noticeable anymore. I do try to be kind of careful on the across the grain, because typically if I'm going to cut myself, that's where I'm going to do it. There's not a whole lot left there, but it is noticeable. In other words, to the point where I feel like I need to do something about it. I guess you might say not quite meeting my standard. It happens just every so often. It's not, in other words, when I'm typically shaving with it 5 days a week, it's about every second or third day that I end up doing a cross the grain pass. Otherwise, 2 pass with a shavette is pretty adequate for me. I get a pretty close shave. Just every once in a while I have to do something across the grain, and I have not, and I'm a bit of a chicken working on across the grain on my neck. Yeah. Don't know if I'm quite ready for that just yet. It's with my skin the way it is, you really got to stretch it just right, and I don't have much of a need for one, so I'm not quite as eager to learn how to do across the grain on my neck. Upper cheeks is pretty easy now that I've got it somewhat under control with the technique and whatnot. When I first started, I always get cut right up here. It seemed like it just, every time I turned around, I was cutting myself up there. Quite frustrating. Eventually I got the hang of it. I do have a little bit of stinging, which seems to be kind of typical for me with a shavette. Got a spot right there. I'm not sure what it is, what I'm doing wrong. I got a couple of spots that it seems like it's pretty regular that I end up with some stinging when I'm shaving with the shavette. So evidently I'm getting just a little bit too much pressure at a point. I'm going to go ahead and follow up with some witch hazel here. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, I noticed the lilac scent when I first put it on, and I would say probably within 5 seconds the scent, I don't smell it anymore. So in other words, I'm not concerned about it interfering with the aftershave or anything like that. Face feels pretty good after you get done shaving with this Crown King line. I can still feel the slickness on my face, and it doesn't feel dried out. That's one of those things I do check for when especially if I'm starting with a new soap, is how does my face feel? Does it feel dried out? Does it feel moisturized? Sundown. The scent, hopefully there's one on the side. I have not looked in a moment, because my ability to describe scent sometimes is pretty limited. I'll show you what the restrictor looks like here in just a moment. I have a nephew that I set him up with this soap and aftershave. Yeah, my face definitely feels good. Doesn't feel dried out at all. Alright, let's see here. That is what the restrictor looks like. It's not real tiny, but it's not real big either. In other words, I've got an aftershave with a restrictor that's much smaller than that. I mean, it's noticeable smaller. Really have to work at getting some out, which is not necessarily a bad thing, especially if it's very expensive. Like you say, you don't want a lot of it going down the sink. Once again, shaver, Camisori style, Feather Artist Club SS. This is slightly different than the DX in that the DX doesn't have this portion right here, and they say that helps with the pressure on the blade. Not too sure if I have that understanding very well, because I don't have a DX to know how much of a difference there is. I know with this one here, it's easy for me to find the angle. I don't have a problem with it. It just, when I first started with it, it was just natural, and been loving it ever since. That's what the shaving cream looks like. Once again, RazoRock 400. That's what I got left in the bowl. Got plenty, and I didn't put a whole lot of soap in the bowl. Whips up pretty big. Hope everybody's doing well. I know we had that storm down in Texas area. A lot of people struggling right now, so if you're down there, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.